Hello everyone, my name is Prashant and the topic for the today's video is rotate IAM keys using Boto 3. Now the first question which comes to our mind, why do we exactly need to rotate our IAM keys? And the simple answer to that is that the main reason is the security, right? So in case if our keys got compromised and there will be a no security breach in our company. So in most of the companies, they have a well documented process or a well established process how to rotate these keys on a frequent basis. Okay. So if you go to the management console and go to IAM, let me search for IAM. Okay. And go to users. Click on any of the users. Under security credentials, we have these keys, right? So if I need to make this key active or if I need to make this key inactive, then I need to go to each and every user and deactivate this key. Okay. And if you can see in my case, I have got close to 147 users. So this is going to be a tedious task if I need to deactivate this key manually. So that's why in this case, we are going to use a Boto 3 script. And in that Boto 3 script, we are going to define, okay, if the key age is exceed n number of days, then we are going to rotate it. Okay. So let's get started. So in order to start writing this script, let me first start writing the script and then I will show you. First thing is obviously we are going to import the Boto 3 library, and now I'm going to use a client, Boto3.client, and connect to the IAM service. If you do not understand what is the use of a client, okay, please watch my earlier video called Introduction to Boto 3. Okay. There is a in that video you will get an understanding why I'm using client here and not the resource. And let me tell you, because in case of a resource, you do not have an option to deactivate the keys. Okay. So now, next thing I'm going to use is a paginator. Okay. And again, in order to understand paginator, you need to look for my earlier videos. So in case of a IAM, the page size is 100. Page size is 100. So that means if I'm going to list all of our IAM users using a normal list keys, it only going to return the 100 users. But if you can see in my account, I have 147 users. So that's why I need to use a paginator. So let's go to the Boto 3 documentation again. Go to available service, search for IAM. If you scroll down, you will see IAM. And in IAM, we are looking for a paginator. Okay. And in this paginator, we are going to first list out the users. And I will tell you why we need to list out the user first. Because when you are going to list out the access keys, in that case you need to supply a username. Okay. So let me write this code first and then I will tell you why we are using this list user here. Okay. Rather than if you go back here, and you will see somewhere list access key. So if you look at the paginator of list access key, and you will see that in case of this paginator, when we are paginating, we need to supply the username. So we need to get the username first before we are going to list our access key. Got it? So that's why we are using list user. Or let me tell you here, in order to use list access keys, we need a user that we have seen, right? In case if we want to use this list access key, we need this username, and that username we can only get it via the list users. Okay, so let me copy this code and paste it here. Okay, now we created this paginator, right? The next step is we are going to iterate over it. Okay, so for that I am going to use the while loop. Oh, for loop, sorry. For, right, for response, whatever the response we got in paginator dot paginate. Okay, let's not worry about the response here, and let's try to print the response. Okay, or if you do not want to print the response, you will see that if you scroll down, you will see that this is the response we are going to get. We are going to get users, we are going to get a dictionary with user, and then we have the list where we got the path, username, user ID, the creation date, all this information. Okay, so either we can do it like this, means either we can check the response in their main documentation, or we can just print the response. So let me execute this key, and as I've got so many users, I got this much amount of response. And you see that it all started with user, and then we have this list. So what we can do on the top of this, we are going to filter this response and say users. Okay, and print response is equal to user, print response equal to user. And let me do one thing, let me iterate over it by using for user. Let me use one more variable, for user in response dot users. Okay, response, sorry for that, and this time let print only the user. Okay, so let me execute this loop again, this code again, and now we are getting this path name, username, user ID, ARN, creation date, all these information. Okay, so we have created the first part of our code, right? So our idea is to get this user. So one more thing which we need to do is, out of this user we only need a username, right? So let me pass this key and get the username. So now we only got the username, right? And let's store this username in some variable. So let me give it any name. Username is equal to, so we have collected the username, right? And that's what I mentioned you earlier. In order to list access key, we need to supply the username like this. So now I'm going to take a new variable called list key, right? And I'm going to use this operation called client list key. For listing the access key, I'm sorry, we don't need a paginator. We can do it normally with the help of client. So if you scroll down, we have something called list access key. Everything is same, just that we don't want to do it with a paginator. And this is how we are going to use it. Client list access key, and then we can pass username which we got from this earlier code. So we can say list key client list access key, and then we can pass this username. Okay, username, let me see if it's a camel case. Yeah, this username equal to this username. Okay, and then let me try to print this list key. Okay, and this time you see we got the response like this. We can also go to the documentation page and see the response. We can get access key metadata, username, access key ID, status, and creation date. Okay, so let me stop this loop, and out of this list key, right, I can let me do one thing. For, let me take one more loop, say access key in list key, and we know that list key start with this. So let me take this key from this dictionary. Okay, and print access key one more time. Okay, so now we are getting the response like this username, access key ID, creation date. We're getting username, access key ID, status, creation date, all this information. Okay, so I don't want to print it. So what I can do, I can store this response in some variable. Access key ID equal to, right, access key, and store it in a variable called access key ID. Right? Similarly, I need a key creation date. And that too I can store in access key ID and create date. Okay, so I got this, right? Now what exactly we need to do, as you can see, this key has been created on 17th of June 2021. Okay, and if you look today date, it's June 29th, so 17 versus 29. So we first need to define a variable. Let me define it like max key age, let's say 5. Okay, and I need to find out the current date. So let me tell you why I'm doing all these things. Okay, so we find it out that, for example, here, right, this key or this user key has been created on this and this date, right? And remember, we are doing this on list key, so that's why this is in respect to when this key has been created. Okay, so this is created on this date. So what exactly I need to do, I need to find out the current date, which means today is 29, so I need to find out the current date, which is June 29, right? Then subtract the current date with this date, this guy date, right, this June 6th, and then we have defined a variable called max age, right? Max key age, or whatever the variables we have defined, max key age is equal to 5. So what we can do, we can take this current date minus this date, and if this date is greater than 5, okay, I mean, it's completely depend upon your company requirement. You can set it at any number, but I see in most of the companies either 30, 60 or 90 days. Okay, if this guy is greater than this 5, what I have shown it for the demo, then you can use, there's one more function, or if you go here and go to client, there's something called update access key. So if you scroll down here, update access key. So there you need to pass the username, the access key ID, and you need to set status as inactive. That's it. Okay. So let me code it and then I will come back to this point if you have any other confusion. So we find it out the key creation date. Okay. Now I need to find out the current date. And to find out the current date, I am going to use a datetime module. From datetime, import datetime. And one more thing, just for my own, I am going to import this time zone. Okay. So now to find out the current date, I can use one variable called current date is equal to datetime dot now. What this variable will do is going to give me the current date. So let me execute this code somewhere and then I will show you. So here and oh, so it will print out the current date. Okay. So even here, because I'm importing from datetime, I'm importing the datetime directly. I don't need this guy, right? So now I have the current date. I have the key creation date. What I can do, I can create a diff of it. That is, let me say use a variable called age, and I will print current date minus key creation date. And let me print it first. Okay. Okay. So in the last code, there's small modification we need to make. And in this current date, datetime.datetime.now, I need to pass something called time zone dot UTC. So which means I'm converting my local time zone into the UTC time zone. Okay. Now let's try to print the age again. And as you can see, we are getting this difference between the current date versus the key creation date. Now, as you can see, we are getting the date as well as time. So we are only interested in the days. So what we can do, dot days. Okay, let's print it again. And now as you can see, we are only getting the days, right? Now the only part which is left is if this age is greater than the variable we have defined above, max key age, then we will write print deactivating key for the following user. Okay, and then we can supply the username. And to deactivate the key, like I mentioned here, there is something called client.update access key. This guy. Let me copy paste it, and username equal to, in our case it is username. Okay, access key ID is equal to this variable, and status we need to make it as inactive, right? That's it. Okay, so what we have done in this code, let me execute it and then I will show you again. So as you can see, it is deactivating the key of these users. Okay, so this is a simple code, right? What we have done, we have started with this creating a client for the IAM, because we know that this functionality is not available in IAM resource, right? Then we create a paginator. The only reason we created a paginator here because we have more than 100 users. and by default the page size for IAM is 100. Okay, then we paginate over it, and the most important thing we do from this list user is to get the username. Then for those users we have got the list key, and we have stored the value of access key ID and the key creation time. Okay, then we use this date time module, and using this date time module we got the current date. We just subtracted the value of current date with this key creation date, and we set up the value of this is 5. If our key age is greater than this, then we are just using a update access key and setting up a status as inactive, like this. Okay. This is the version 1 of the code, and I have wrote one more version of this code which I already shared in my GitHub link. So if you go to this 100 days of DevOps and go to this Boto 3 and rotate IAM key version 2, so everything is same. The only difference is I break it down in the form of a function. So I wrote a separate function to rotate a key, and then just calling this function here. Okay, so this is little bit about how to follow a security best practice and rotate the IAM key on the regular basis. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any question, please post in the comment section and I will try my best to answer those. Thanks once again for watching this video.